call me crazy, and yes, crazy and in this outfit, right? But I went ahead and planted my indeterminate tomatoes, I think this year, and I've been reading the Farmer's Almanac and stuff, and it seems to be pretty stinking accurate. It says we're warmer and drier this spring. And looking at the weather forecast, I went ahead and decided to do this, even though it's early April, okay? I know my risks. I planted my indeterminate tomatoes in the raised beds, okay? And I plan on replacing my old fencing trellis with cattle panel and getting rid of those hoops and putting those hoops elsewhere, but I still need to obtain more barrels. Or I also thought in mineral tubs. Mineral tubs are about the same size as 55-gallon barrels cut in half. So I could also collect those and utilize those out in this space. I could put so many half 55-gallon barrels or mineral tubs out here and grow so many plants. Look at the stock shakes there, how I got them positioned. Now, I'm not allowed to drill no holes in them, but I'm allowed to plant in them. So I got them positioned like this, kind of wanting to make self-watering raised bed gardens out of them, I guess. But they still have their drainage holes in the front. So I'm just thinking thirsty plants want to be planted there. Isn't that right, Falcor? Can maybe kind of shaded too. They don't require the full heat of the day. Now down in here, I guess we could go down there and take a look. Down in here, I got the Spinach America variety. I have some different varieties of lettuce in here. That's the brown gold ring lettuce. I thought it was a Lucullus Swiss chard that was growing over there. But after a closer look, I realized no, that's romaine lettuce. And that's going to be the brown gold ring that lasted all winter long, again, here in Western Kentucky. So I'm going to say brown gold ring lettuce. Get that lettuce. It's going to grow all winter for you here in Western Kentucky. And then I got my slow bolt there. I don't remember if that's slow bolt or, yeah, I don't remember. And then I planted dill for my winter sowing in all these raised beds too. Whether they take or not, we'll see. And then I sowed green zebra pole beans, and they're supposed to be good for green beans or dried beans, and I thought that would be a great option to grow here to fill in space and grow up the fencing here. And it'll also put nitrogen back into the compost slash I'm dumping my old potting soil into these raised beds to fill them up. So there's that. But I did do this, and I've been out here weeding, and I'm going to do more of that today too. But I've also been working on back here, and let me show you. So I just bought some new plants from Rural King. These are Starry Night violas. So I bought 2 of those, and then some bleeding heart vines. Finally, after eyeballing from several years, but the dianthus, I planted that a few years ago back here, and I would recommend that for anybody looking for I don't know what to plant here. Plant the dianthus slash carnations. They don't mind shady spots. They don't mind, you know, they're growing where a lot of things aren't going to grow. So I'm telling you. So dianthus carnations are great. Primrose, I bought them in pots in Rural King this way early spring, late winter. And I finally potted them out here. I think they're going to do great. I've been out here weeding the ahuga, however you want to say it. It's in bloom. And I can't remember what variety it is. I want to say chocolate chip. I think it's chocolate chip. And it's beautiful. But I want to grow other varieties of ajuga back there. So I've been working on my gardens. I want to do a lot of stuff before it gets stupid hot out. You know, I'd appreciate if someone came over and gave me a hand and gave me motivation and stuff. I'd come over to their house and do the same. But so far I haven't found anyone that could do that. So hopefully I could get motivation through here. So yeah, y'all leave comments. Y'all just hit the thumbs up, do what you do. I don't know. It's just after work and it's cooler, so I'm enjoying my non-alcoholic beer and coming out here before it gets too cold out, and I don't want to be outside anymore. But I did do a lot of stuff over Easter weekend that I wanted to share with you. I was going to film some of the stuff I was doing Easter Sunday, but I was just wrapped up in Bryan Adams in the moment. I even posted some Bryan Adams lyrics on Facebook, like, yeah. And it's just like a bunch of Bryan Adams songs, and now they're all stuck in my head, just like a big collage of Bryan Adams. Yeah. So anyway, I got the rest of my dwarf tomatoes potted, and the determinate tomatoes. This is what I got left to give out. I ended up deciding to mix my crab shell and kelp meal together, fertilizers. So that's what that is. I don't know. I just decided to do it. Those are the tomatoes I'm keeping right here. And so, yeah, I still got to take those into work and let people pick through them. These are the indeterminate tomatoes people picked through that they didn't take, so those are going to the plant swap. I got some lemon balm there I forgot to take to work to see if somebody wanted it. If not, that's also going to the plant swap. I haven't up-potted these plants yet, but the catnip can go to the plant swap. And then the rest of these I'm keeping. I don't know what that is. I don't know. We'll see what it is. It looks like there's a couple wild blue indigos growing, so that's cool. But I took care of a lot more of this out here. I got rid of that old galvanized bed. We did that some more. I planted all of my indeterminate tomatoes out. My cilantro is planted out. I'm going to get cattle panel. There was some cheap welded wire fencing here, and it worked for the few years. But it's just flimsy, and cattle panel was my long-term goal anyway. So I'm finally just going to go do it, go get the cattle panel this year. My only hesitation with getting it has been trailer situations. Chad's got flooring problems, wheel problems, I don't know. But then he's a truck driver and doesn't really have time to do, he doesn't have time to do everything. So pick what you want to get done. But it feels a lot better out here. I even planted the dill out. I did sow some seeds. I have some 3 different kinds of cucumbers. White Wonder. Gosh, I can't remember what the other one is. Persian pickling, that's what it is. And then that snack self-pollinating hybrid. I put those in there. And then I got like yellow squash. I can't remember what type of zucchini. It's a new type from Livingston that I've seen this year. I'm trying out. I'll have to come back to find the packet and tell you guys later. And then the Japanese tiger melons that I had growing volunteers out in the in-ground garden out there. I really like those melons. I like them better than the Kajari melons, so I will continue with the Japanese tiger melons and not continue on with Kajari melons. Down here, I thought that was Luculus Swiss chard that was in those beds. I transplanted it in here. That's probably brown gold ring romaine lettuce. And it did grow all winter long for me. Last year, the year before, when I grew lettuce and greens out here all winter long, that was another one for me. Well, it's not another one, it's the same one. Same one that performed for me really well. A real true winter champ lettuce. Brown gold ring lettuce. And then my America spinach, and it looks like giant ragweed trying to grow there. And of course, we don't want it to grow there. And then all along the fence line there, I put 2 or 3 seeds, I can't remember, of green zebra pole beans. And these beans are supposed to be good for eating as green beans or drying out. And so I figured those were basically the only pole green beans I had. And I wanted to grow a green bean in here. But then I could also dry them if I want to. And I like the idea of that. Maybe we like those. Maybe we like a bean like that. So we're going to try those here. And it'll help put nitrogen back in the compost and recycled bedding. There it is, my flimsy piece of crap. Anybody want a free raised bed? So I peeled this back since we don't have free ranging birds anymore. Yeah, I have pots and stuff sitting in my yard. So I'm not done, guys. I'm just getting started with gardening. So I cleaned this up pretty well. That's the Starry Night viola from Rural King. Bleeding Heart vine also from Rural King. Those are planted. There's some daylilies Chad picked out. I planted the primrose out here. Look, this one's blooming again. The dianthus has grown great back here. It comes back a couple years now, so I'm not scared to buy and plant out more dianthus out here. See, there's another dianthus. And it looks like it kind of seeded over here too. And then the blackberries and raspberries, something seeding and spreading, and so I'm letting that do it. And then look at the ajuga, however you want to say it. That's the chocolate chip variety, and it's really pretty. And I want to find other varieties of the ajuga to plant out there too. I think it'll look really pretty together. I still have quite a bit of work to do.